It's the second week in January. The term has started. So has the second half of the season. To achieve their goal of winning the national championship, the Hawks must constantly push themselves.
This is a long, pounding season. Basketball's a difficult game, especially when you practice as often, and in our case, as hard as we do. We practice hard.
The team is preparing for a big game, a rematch with George Brown, the only team to defeat them in the regular season. Rookie Mark Sparks won't get to play. Only 12 of the team's 14 players can dress for regular season games, and Mark is ranked last on the squad. But just making the team is a big achievement for someone who didn't play much ball before coming to Humber.
Mark is a total walk-on. I didn't know who he was. He came out to the open tryout, and there was something about him that, you know, we kind of liked, but he was so raw and unable to grasp one basketball concept, it seemed.
Honestly, I don't know how I made the squad. I guess, you know, Mike saw a work ethic, or I don't know, whatever he saw. But I mean, personally, I was just glad to make the team.
Mark was determined to improve. He worked hard at his game. The effort started to pay off.
Most recently, his game has really improved. He's a good athlete, he's a good player, and he's got a very bright future for us.
But Mark may not be able to stay on the team. Mark is $500 short on his tuition fees. He can't register for the second term. If he isn't a student, he can't play on the team.
I didn't have that money to dispose of, you know, with paying rent, with, you know, transportation and all that stuff.
Mark works for a mobile phone company. He's been working as many hours a week as he can just to make ends meet.
I actually was working 2 jobs up until about a couple of weeks ago. You know, doing some turnaround shifts, which are like midnight shifts. So I was working a lot. I was working a lot of hours just trying to make some money.
Mark tried to get a student loan, but he ran into a hitch. He's 19, and he needs his mother to sign the loan application. But he doesn't know where his mother is.
She was in Florida. She's been moving around a little bit around there, so I haven't got a hold of her. I sent her the letters Pure Later twice, actually. Once Pure Later said they lost them, and the second one I haven't got a hold of yet, so I'm still calling them, you know, trying to find out where that's at. But
his mother accepted a nursing job in the States last year. It was not their first separation. When Mark was 2, his parents divorced. He was sent to live with his grandmother. His father went to the States. His mother moved to another city. She returned when he was 10. Mark went to live with her. It was like moving in with a stranger.
We didn't have like the tightest relationship, I guess, you know, but I mean, that definitely stems from me as a 10-year-old coming in and kind of distancing myself from anybody but my grandmother, you know.
When Mark's mother moved to Florida, he kept their apartment, and he found 2 roommates to share the rent.
He's alone and he's 19, and I mean, that's unbelievable to think. And having to fend for themselves and pay bills and go to school, and you wouldn't even know that he's carrying this burden. He's just that kind of person.
Now Mark may lose his place at Humber and on the team.
Straight up, I was kind of just like, I was bummed, you know, and I was like totally, I felt like I was on my face. I felt like, okay, what's going on?
One of his teammates told him he might be able to defer paying the $500 he's short on his tuition. But when he goes to the college's financial aid officer, she tells him the college no longer allows deferred payments.
Just that, you know, students come in and say to us they're working and they're paid based on their income, and it was never, and there was a lot of problem trying to track these students down to get the money to pay their tuition, and in some cases we lost it. So, you know, it's hard, like a few of students. I'm just trying to think of your situation with your mom, though. Were you not even able to reach her over the holidays? Like, she just disappeared just like that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Were you not on good terms when she left? Or?
You could say that, I guess, yeah. But,
And how much do you have as a down payment for tuition? Do you have anything?
Right now, I could up to $500 right now. Yeah.
The financial aid officer goes to talk to her manager to see what can be done.
It works.
The college won't defer Mark Sparks' fees. But there may be another solution. They've recommended he apply for a bursary. Mark goes to the athletic director to get support for his application.
She's going to make me fill out this form and try for a bursary for $500, and she's going to see if I can get that. You know, bring that in either later today or tomorrow. And if I can get that, then, you know, I can just pay off the rest of it or whatever.
But do you have money for books or anything beyond that? How are you going to do that?
I'd work, you know, pick up, if I have to pick up a second job at nights or whatever, like, that's not a problem. Do that. That's what I did for last semester to get my books and stuff.
So you got the bursary forms from her?
Right here.
Okay, fill those out, and I'll go down with you tomorrow. I'll see her, and if that gets accepted, then you're pretty well in the clear.
Tonight, the Hawks will play George Brown. The players want revenge. They lost to George Brown in the opening game of the season.
Ever since we lost that game to them in November, that's the only game I've been thinking about.
It's not even a matter of win. We want to beat them bad. Like, we want to punish them for talking all these 2 months about how they're better than us. And like,
this game has additional importance. Whoever wins will be ranked the #1 college team in Canada.
All the marbles, baby.
Well, #1 in the country.
Yep. That's why I'm excited. I want #1.
Rupert Thomas is a key member of the squad. Most of the other black players have West Indian roots. Rupert was born in Ghana. When he was 13, his family settled in Ottawa, where he grew up with his mother and 2 sisters. 2 years ago, he left home to go to college. It was hard to leave.
I didn't want to leave because I knew I was going to miss my mom a lot.
You're very close to your mom.
Yeah.
You talk to her?
Pardon me?
Do you talk to her?
Yeah, all the time. I talk to my mom about 3 or 4 times, 4 times a week.
My children are very close to me, and I'm close to my children too. Right now, I'm in Canada with these children. I don't have any relative in Canada here. Like close friends is my children, and I'm their close friend as well. I'm their mother, I'm their friend as well.
Rupert's mother and his sister, Rachel, have come to visit Rupert and his other sister, Ruth, who also lives in Toronto. She's always been involved in her children's lives. She went to almost every high school game Rupert played in. Rupert hasn't seen his father in years. He never felt his absence.
You don't miss what you never had, you know?
Never had, basically. I don't miss having a Mercedes Benz because I never had one. It's the same situation with the father figure issue. I never had one, so I don't miss having one.
A lot of his coaches, he's close to them, so like that takes the place of a father figure sometimes for him. Because like if you're close to like a male figure, like you model yourself after them. So a lot of his coaches, he's close to them, so like he takes after them in some respects.
When Rupert transferred to Humber last year, Coach Cates quickly became an important figure in his life.
I mean, coming from a home where I just grew up with just me and my mom and my sisters and stuff. So usually, I mean, when I go away from home and stuff, usually you always look for someone to be there for you as a kind of like someone, a father figure, or someone to look up to. And the coach he's been that for me this year.
I like Rupert a lot. Part of the relationship I have with Rupert goes also beyond the court. I mean, well, you know, he wants my car, I give him my car as long as he washes it, and he always does.
But on the court, it's not always an easy relationship.
Rupert's an inconsistent player. One game he's good, one game he's poor. I mean, he can get to the rim, he's explosive. He's a great rebounder on both ends, but sometimes his skill level doesn't match the situation that you'd like him to, you know, to fulfill.
The only time you close up when he shoots it, you get a hand in his face, that's it.
Tonight's the big rematch with George Brown. Mark Sparks is back with the team. He got his bursary. Although he won't be playing, he's just happy to be here.
It's revenge, yo. They beat us in our house. Let's do the same to them.
Let's be aggressive every aspect of the game. You know the importance of the game. We got a chance right here. Be #1 in the country, okay? Let's go, Hawks.
Let's go, man.
One.
Oh, bring it, everyone.
1, 2, 3.
Hawks!
George Brown comes out flying. The Hawks are sluggish. Humber defends poorly, are slow to the ball, and can't make shots. Within 5 minutes, George Brown is up 11-0. The Hawks need to find a way to get back in the game. Humber is battling for the #1 ranking in Canada. A win won't give them the national championship, but it will avenge their opening night loss to George Brown. George Brown dominates both ends of the court, pushing their lead to 15 points. Rupert Thomas is on the bench, hoping the coach will put him in the game. Last year, Humber made it to the national championship, but Coach Cates didn't give Rupert much playing time.
So I went home and said, okay, if he wasn't going to play me at nationals, then I'm going to have to do something to improve my game in situations.
Rupert worked hard all summer to improve his game. He wanted to impress the coach and get more playing time.
Tally told him how much work I was putting in over the summertime, and he was heard about how well I was playing in the summer league in Ottawa and stuff. So when I came back, he was expecting a lot of big things from me.
But when the season started, Rupert's hard work didn't pay off where it counts, on the court.
Well, Rupert just wasn't playing well. He was turning it over, you know, incessantly. It was embarrassing to him. That's probably the lowest ebb for him.
Knowing that I worked so hard in the summertime and I wasn't really seeing the results, it just got frustrating, and it was just hard for me to handle.
Rupert's frustrations led to tensions with the coach.
I mean, he was expecting one thing, I was expecting one thing, it's like we both wanted the same thing, but we didn't really know how to get to it. You know what I mean? So the frustrations kind of came out. I get upset all the time. He get mad at me. You know, back and forth kind of thing.
Perhaps the hardest thing for Rupert was not knowing how he fit into the coach's plans.
You want to feel like the coach have confidence in you that you're improving and you're doing better. And that's one of the things that's really hard for me to deal with, just knowing that from day to day, game to game, I don't really know where I stand.
Drive kick, go to the basket!
Humber's starters can't make a dent in George Brown's lead. Coach Cates goes to his bench.
Fitz, Rupert, Kingsley.
Hoping to stop the bleeding. The bench players put pressure on George Brown. They make some key shots, reducing George Brown's lead to 10. But George Brown answers the challenge. At halftime, Humber is still trailing by 10, and the players are about to get an earful from the coach.
All right, don't hang your heads, okay? We got to get back in the game. Okay, we don't have the game. We're going to find a way to play the second half a lot better than the first. Now we're going to play full court pressure. You are not going to back down 1 inch now. You're going to go out there and you're going to play full court, man-to-man defense, 90 feet of the court, and we're going to see what happens. And if you had the desire that they did, it wouldn't be 10 points at the half. That's what we got to turn around right now. All right? So get the out there. We're going to play 90 feet. We're going to make them beat us the real way. Beat Humber playing Humber, not bullshit basketball. Okay? Let's go. Right now.
But it's George Brown that starts out on the attack, adding to their lead. Humber picks it up at both ends of the court and slowly gets back in the game.
Come back, X.
George Brown battles back. But the pace is beginning to tell. Coach Cates senses an opportunity to turn the game around.
Okay, now listen. More than any other time, this is a team that is tired. You have to now impose your will on them.
Humber mounts a furious comeback. The momentum is shifting. The Hawks take control of the game.
Come on, push up, baby, let's go!
With 4 minutes left, Humber only trails by 3.
Hey, Worm, I want you to push it down hard, all right, to get into anything. Everything's a hard push. We're not walking it out.
2 minutes left. Guard Jeremy Walters steals the ball and gives Humber the lead. "60 seconds left. Jeremy fouls the George Brown shooter. It's his 5th foul, and that puts him out of the game.
I can't believe you make that call.
George Brown will shoot from the line. The call could cost Humber the game.
And then it's 22. Who else is it, Phil?
George Brown ties the game on the foul shots. With Jeremy out, the coach must make a substitution. Rupert asks for the chance.
Yeah, I'm ready to go, coach.
I know you are.
Tell him that they can. He's the other guy.
Okay, let's go.
Coach Cates puts Rupert in the game.
Get a rebound.
Rupert gets a key rebound. The score is tied. But with 26 seconds left, Humber misses a key shot.
Get there, run!
George Brown comes up with the ball. 15 seconds left. George Brown has a chance to win the game. But with time running down, Dexter intercepts a pass. He spots Rupert, whose layup wins the game.
All right, enjoy it. #1 in the country. And now everybody guns for you.
The Hawks are #1 for now. The real test will come in 2 months at the national championship. But for Rupert, tonight's victory is sweet.
I wanted him to know that I was really proud of him.
Yeah, I mean, he just came to me and said, like the way we usually talk, Bumbo, what's up? How you doing? I go, I'm all right, coach. Say, how you feeling? I go, I'm okay. I goes, yeah. They said that was a big game. That was a big basket. That was a big 2 minutes for you, and I want to give you a hug or something like that. I go, nah. So I said, no. I don't hug my coaches.